Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be sharing with you our family curriculum picks for term 1, the school year 2023-2024. If you are new around here, I am a homeschool mom of 4 children, ages 10, 8, 4, and 18 months. Don't quiz me on that. And this is our 5th year homeschooling. My oldest is in 5th grade, and so I'm really excited to share with you the curriculum picks that we have chosen for term 1 and also share with you our plan for this coming school year. Our family follows the Charlotte Mason philosophy in our schoolroom, and for the most part we either use simply Charlotte Mason or Ambleside, a little mix of the two. This is our first year really diving into a more full concept, or I guess full dedication into Ambleside online. However, I still am making some slight adjustments that just work better for our family and how I think things will flow. So since this is our first year really incorporating a lot of Ambleside's readings, I will definitely give you a term end recap at the end of term 1, which we should finish sometime in November. And since I'm sharing with you our family curriculum enrichment studies in today's video, I will go ahead at the end of this video and share with you our weekly schedule so you can kind of see how we're fitting in these curriculum picks for term 1. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and let's get into what we're doing for this school year. All right, so we'll first start out with our picture study. This term we'll be doing Gainsborough, and then we have 2 more picked out for the rest of the year. I love these picture portfolios from Simply Charlotte Mason, and I have highlighted them before in other videos, so I would love to know if you use these in your school as well, but we're really looking forward to exploring Gainsborough. For our family read aloud, we will be doing The Magician's Nephew. Now, we did Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Actually, my 10-year-old read it out loud to us last year, and we did the Wild and Free book that kind of like explores, doing that as like a unit study. We weren't doing it for school. It was something that we did with my mom and their cousins. And so I wanted to get in the rest of the series because it's an incredible series. So we will be doing this more in the evenings than in the mornings, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, and then for our geography, we will be following the Ambleside online, and I'm going to be sharing the individual studies also on this channel, and it will cover what the girls will be doing separately in their geography. With that said, I should just preface this to say that my 4-year-old son isn't doing any formal school. However, he does typically sit with us often in our morning time or even sometimes during our enrichment studies. He enjoys a lot of the things that we're learning, but this is primarily for my 10-year-old and 8-year-old who are in 5th and 3rd grade, if we're going to give them grades. So in geography, we're going to be studying the compass, Earth's surfaces, highlands and lowlands, mountains and valleys, and we will be using C.C. Long and Charlotte Mason's Elementary Geography and Home Geography. These 2 books are referred to a lot in any sort of Charlotte Mason curriculum that you might be following. And so we will only be taking a couple chapters out of these. And in fact, a lot of it will be review because I wasn't fully following Ambleside last year, and we were actually just reading through once a week the elementary geography. So we actually have already read half of this book, but that's okay. It's great things to revisit. They did narrate last year, so I feel like some of this might be review for them, but I'm fine with that, and I want to just kind of go directly with where Ambleside is placing on us. And we're doing the year 4 kind of recommendations as a family instead of doing each of them having their own thing, which they do, but this we're doing as a family. All right, I'm really excited about our poet for term 1. So we used the Simply Charlotte Mason poetry studies. Ambleside has listed poets, but I really love these studies by Simply Charlotte Mason. And so we will read a poem every day, and then we will also choose 1 to 2 poems for them to memorize in the term that they will share at a recitation night with friends, and also share by heart on their exams. Okay, for our foreign language, we use Speaking Spanish by Miss Mason and Francois, and we are on lesson 11. So we started this last year, but I have some suggested lessons that I'm hoping we will get through this first term. However, I really focus on us mastering and memorizing the Spanish progressively before we move on, rather than just going to the next lesson. And so I kind of want to make sure that we have the lesson memorized, but we have the audio also that we purchased with this, and we are really enjoying this curriculum. It was a hit last year. I think everything that we've learned, we've actually been able to regurgitate to friends. And so I know that we know it. Mom, maybe not as much as them, but definitely them. So we're really enjoying Spanish, and hopefully another year of that we'll be able to at least have basic conversational skills by the end of this year. So I will share at the end of our term how that Spanish is going. This is new to us. So we are actually going to be going through a complete play of Shakespeare. This is the Simply Charlotte Mason Shakespeare study. So this is done a little bit different than you would see on Ambleside Online. Last year, we did more Ambleside. We read Tales from Shakespeare by Lamb, and we read, I think, 8 of the Shakespeare, mini, summaries and those stories. And I think that gave us a good taste for Shakespeare itself. My girls loved that book, and they loved Shakespeare. They're totally into the drama and all the things. And I know that's not for every kid, and I don't necessarily even know if you have to learn this at this age, but they're into it. And so we're doing this Shakespeare, and it has the whole script written out. We're gonna get to speak it together, and I'm terribly excited. This is a really funny play, in my opinion. Midsummer's Night's Dream, it is kind of comical, and so they liked it when we did Tales from Shakespeare, and so that's why I chose this one. This is also recommended for younger age, so definitely if you're looking for an easy way to have fun with Shakespeare, because at the end of this, we're going to either, if we can't find a play somewhere that's doing it, then we'll watch it. And I think that this is just a really great way to kind of enrich their education. And so we're doing that this term. For our habit study, we will be continuing with Laying Down the Rails. This is our 3rd year using Laying Down the Rails. I really like this. I would highly recommend it to anybody for simple ways to add in good character lessons in your school. And they have 2 volumes, and they go through different types of habits. For this term, we are doing the habit of course, I have it written down. Where is it? Courtesy. So we're going to be doing the habit of courtesy. And in each habit, they have basically about 10 to 12 lessons. And so it's really easy for you to do 1 to 2 a week per term, and just helping the children really understand why you've chosen this habit, what are your intentions behind it. And they have different ones like mental habits, spiritual habits, different things. So really excited about the habit of courtesy, and I think it's going to be enriching, and I will definitely report back at the end of the term to let you know if my kids have gotten any better at the habit of courtesy, thanks to Laying Down the Rails. Okay, so this kind of goes into our history. This year, history is changing slightly for us. And so you will be seeing me kind of work through different things as I find our rhythm as a family. We've used mystery history for the last 2 years. We liked mystery history, but in interest and desire to flow more into an Ambleside online, years for the future as my kids are getting older. I have made some adjustments in our history, but also still trying to incorporate some family type reading along with them doing their individual reading and their literature that should be, according to Charlotte Mason, connecting with one another. Where they're at in history should be like where they're at with their literature. So I will be kind of, I guess, working through this, and I will keep you guys updated. So we are doing our island story. We were doing this last year, so I'm keeping this as our family studies, and we're doing it twice a week. And that is really, we're going to continue that until my oldest daughter is basically, we're caught up to where she would be independently in year 4. And then I'll decide if I want to separate it or just keep going. And my year 2 student, this is such a, it's only like 3 or 4 pages. It only takes me about 10, 15 minutes to read out loud. They both narrate it back really well. It's the history of England. And so I just want to continue that with them together. And I'll let you know how that goes. I picked up this book, which was recommended from Ambleside online. I'm not familiar with it, but this basically is kind of replacing the lesson reads that we would do with mystery history. And so I'm going to try to kind of just pick up where we left off. We were right, I think, around 300 BC. And so we're probably just going to pick up so we can be off in there chronologically, even though that would, my year 2 student, obviously she would be farther back. We're just going to go right where we're at and stick with doing these 2 books together. And I think that that's going to work really well for us. And I don't think it'll be confusing with the literature that they're reading. So I will let you know how that goes. But definitely I think that Ambleside Online is focusing more on literature. And so they're both, when I share their grades and what they're reading, they're both doing a lot of literature reading. And I also want us to have like books that are focused on people, characters, the heroism kind of idea. And so they're actually getting something out of it. And I loved mystery history, but if I'm honest, when I, look back at, what do we remember from it? I don't think we remember as much as when I started implementing the Simply Charlotte Mason books. The Ambleside recommended books. So like our island story, and they really like that, and they've been able to retain the people and the characters that they've met. So I think this is a really good move for us, and so I'm excited about that. Okay, so we're actually going to be doing a day where we're going to talk about health, and this is new to us. However, my daughters are 10 and 8. My 10-year-old and I have had a little discussion on the body changing and whatnot. However, this is a book that my mom gave me that she used with me. I don't even know if it's in print anymore. It's How You Are Changing. It's for ages 8 through 10. And it's really just talking about the biology of the human body, male, female, what that looks like, how we're all made in God's image. And it's a terrific book. Very basic, very factual, just keeping it simple, but also being clear so that they have a firsthand understanding of everything and how everything works straight from mom, from baby to male and female. And so this book we will be doing once a week. I'm going to share about that, how we're doing all of it in a minute. And I think it will be really helpful for the girls, and I will let you know how it goes. And if you've ever done any sort of like health unit with your kids, and that's something that you do in your family studies, let me know, and let me know down below, because if this goes well, I think it would be really interesting to maybe incorporate something else in term 2 and term 3. Both of our girls exercise quite a bit. My husband's a personal trainer, and so we have a fully outfitted gym here at the house, and so they do a lot of just fun activities. So I would say in the Phi-Ed category, we have that covered, but I definitely think it's interesting to understand a little more of the biology of the body. Okay, so other things that we're doing that don't necessarily have a book are our folk songs, which we love. We use Ambleside Online, and also there is, I will show you when I do their individual work, but there is a website that allows you to print the folk songs and the hymns as coloring pages with the words, and my children love it. They have almost every hymn and folk song, because I think the person that draws the illustrations is following Ambleside online. So I'm going to post that link down below. So we do their folk songs and their hymns. And we'll also follow their composer. So we will be studying the Renaissance period. I majored in music in college, so this is very simple for me to just play Renaissance music during, coloring or reading. This is something that I just want them to be really familiar with, like what the sound of that time period sounded like. And then maybe they can just kind of describe it to me at the end of their term in one of their exams. Since this is not a composer focused necessarily like other terms that we've had. And then of course they have their Bible. So that is also a family subject. Our church does a reading Bible plan every single year. And so we actually read as a family the Old Testament portion of that reading in the morning. My husband works from home, and so we have that flexibility around 8:30 that we just sit down for 10 to 15 minutes and he reads our Old Testament reading to us, and then we'll have the girls narrate it, and then we'll talk about it if discussion is, needed. And then the girls read the New Testament, and me and my husband portion on their own, and then we can talk about it. So that is actually our Bible reading. And then the other thing that we do is our handicraft. So our handicraft this term will actually be sewing, and we did sewing last term, but the girls are just getting their feet wet. They've been going to my mom's. The whole spring term, we drove to my mom's every other Thursday, and they did a sewing craft, and they did some really neat things last term, and they're ready to take it to the next level. And so we will do sewing until we feel really comfortable with the sewing machine and hand sewing. So for sure this next term we're doing sewing, so until the Thanksgiving season. And then after that, I haven't decided. I just want to see how we're doing with our sewing. So I'm not one that's like, I'm going to plan out the whole school year and say term 2, we're doing this handcraft, term 3, we're doing that handcraft. The reason I decided that I'm only going to share term 1 today, even though I have a lot of term 2 and term 3 kind of planned out, is because first of all, we're doing a lot of Ambleside online. I want to see how that goes for our family and completely, be honest with you guys how it goes. And I also just want to see how things feel. Maybe we're going to do something over term 2 and during the holidays, things might look different. So this is everything we're doing for term 1. We actually started already. We started Monday, July 31st, and we'll do 6 weeks on, 1 week off, and then we'll have 6 weeks on again. And I made our term written out in 10 weeks, and I'm going to share that here below. I have it all written out, and I did that because I wanted to have some flexibility, because I knew there might be Fridays or Mondays or maybe a random day where we didn't get everything that we wanted to get done, or maybe my year 4 student might need some extra time to read that last extra week. And so I allowed time for that. And then I allowed a whole week for exams, even if we don't need that whole week. Same idea. So I kind of like squeeze it all in just to give us that extra time at the end, instead of maybe feeling like we're doing more of a light work and then we're kind of catching up near the end. And also, I want to say one more thing. If you're still with me, hanging out, talking about these family subjects, I also want to say that I feel like with Ambleside and Charlotte Mason, my heart is, if we're not like finishing, a book, then we just keep on going. Like, we just move that stuff into term 2. I think that's one of my favorite things about the Charlotte Mason and just having a feast of ideas. You don't really have a beginning and an end in a textbook. You don't have this sort of high pressure anxiety that we're not finishing where we're supposed to be in the book. We're not on lesson 56. It's just like we're opening a book and we're reading it. And yes, I have a plan. It's not free for all, but there's a lot of grace that once you take your break, you can just pick up where you left off. And when I, type out my, plan for term 2, if we didn't finish things, then I'll just move them over. And I really like that. You're never behind. In the Ambleside and the Charlotte Mason, your kids are getting this rich like amount of literature that so many of, I personally have not read most of these books, and I had a rich education. I was homeschooled, still haven't read a lot of these books, and so I have to pre-read them all, and I have been blown away by these books. So anyways, that was just a little bit of encouragement. If you ever feel like you're under pressure to complete something, simply, or Charlotte Mason may be something you want to just kind of look into. So let me now show you how I have broken down our semester and term and what it looks like in our day-to-day routine. Okay, so these are the adjustments that I have made to the Ambleside online schedule, and I wanted to write out like what we are doing as far as family subjects. So a lot of these they might all do individually, independently. I have combined what I feel is good for our morning basket or enrichment studies as a family, and then I wrote out what I wanted us to do in 10 weeks, give or take. It's 12 weeks, but I left 2 weeks for just wiggle room and exams, and so I condensed all of the whatever readings that were suggested and put it into 10 weeks. So here we have everything that I was talking about in the video: habit, Spanish, Shakespeare, Gainsborough, Children of Our World, Our Island Story, etc., etc. And then I wrote out what I wanted us to do each week. So this is what I was talking about when I said at the end of the term, if we didn't get through this, maybe we ran out of time one day and so that day got missed, and so forth, then we'll just move it along, okay? And then our island story is the one that I said my, 5th grader may take off independently, once we finish it, but I don't know, we might keep that as a family. We're just going to see how it goes. So here you see that I put in the folk songs that are recommended by Ambleside online, and same with the hymns. So this is how I have it written out, so that when I'm looking at our weekly to-do, or I'm looking at our morning basket for that week, it's on Sunday night, I will know exactly what I want us to get completed that week. So I will have this posted so that I have easy access to that. And then how do we exactly get in all of these subjects into our week? So this is a really simple guide that I'm going to reprint and frame once we finish our schoolroom, which is currently being remodeled and which is currently being fixed. We will do Bible every day and poem every day, but we rotate these, as you can see. So like, I guess some people will call it rotating subjects. I've seen different terms. And then picture, study, geography, composer, habit, and health, we're only doing once a week, okay? And then the Shakespeare and Spanish, we'll also rotate, handcraft, and then nature study. So this is how we're going to get in all of this. And that just goes to show you that you're really getting a feast of ideas, but it's not that your enrichment studies and your morning time is really taking more than an hour, hour and a half every single day. And this really is like one of the richest parts of their education, in my opinion, is the time that we're getting spent together. So hopefully you found that helpful. And I will be sure to be sharing, our following terms and how this went and what we actually complete at the end of the term. Okay, so that is it for our video on family subjects. If you liked this video and you want to see more of what we have coming in the next term and our homeschool journey, then make sure to subscribe below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.